In this video, we're going to talk about how we would go and research an interest to get better targeting for our Facebook ads. In this example, I am going to target pottery. So clay and pottery. So we're going to target those, and we're going to try to find information about interests, and then work on building a set of interests that we can really go ahead and target on Facebook. So this is what we're going to do. So we know we want this. So I'm going to go to Facebook's to, I'm going to go to Ads Manager, and I'm going to put in pottery, and I'm going to look for interests. We're only looking at interests this time because one of the things I'm finding that is if I go to Ads Manager and I put in an interest, I only see 1, 2, maybe even 25. I think at max I see 25. And that's just because Facebook can't afford to push it all to every user. So they're kind of economizing, and then they're hoping that you go and search a little deeper. And if you don't, you're just paying them more money, because everybody who's searching for pottery will just find this one interest for pottery, put it in, and say, oh, that's an audience of 230 million people, and I'll just have to cut that down some other way. But let's look at some different suggestions and start looking at those. Okay. And ceramic art, ceramic creativity, tableware, handicraft, tile. And the problem is I can just put these in here, and I don't really have a place to, oh, I already have that one. That's a field of study. We're just looking at interest now. And so in essence, I'd have to go out and say, oh, let me get, says ceramic is 91 million people. So I would go maybe to a tab in my spreadsheet, and I type in ceramic, and I type in that. I would go back in Ads Manager, ceramic art. People have expressed interest in like pages related to ceramic art. So I go back here, ceramic art, and that's that many people. And let's go back to Ads Manager, look at porcelain. Well, we'll go with it, porcelain, and I spelled that wrong probably. Yeah, let's go back here, and let's go, we got pottery, let's go with pottery, and that's people who are interested in like pottery. So in essence, if I did my targeting according to this, I would run at these, I would run at this, and I'd get pottery, and I'd have, what does it equal, an audience of, and 172 million people. So what I would probably end up doing is saying, okay, I would narrow the audience. I want to have, instead of the 230 million people they're saying there, this person also has to be interested in pottery. Interest. And I would go remove it from there, and that would cut it down. 28 million people. So I'm going to remove this porcelain thing because that's really not, and I'm going to remove the tile, and that would bring it down to 27 million people. But that would be the extent to which I would go ahead and be able to target for interests. And that's where most people are. And the problem is that a lot of times this may be the best you can do. But a lot of times there's a little bit more research that can be done. A lot of people say go to audience insights. But I'm finding that a lot of audience insights research, they aren't targetable inside of Ads Manager. We'll maybe do another video on that one, but there are some add-ons and extensions that'll help you figure out which ones you can use for targeting. But it's really more for you to get an idea of who your ideal customer is and do a lot more research. So looking at this, knowing that the cost this quarter, Q3 of 2019, when I'm recording this video, and in Q4 going into the holidays, the costs are going to increase for Facebook ads. And to compensate that, you need a way to look broader. You need a way to get ahead of your competition. So I sat down with my team and we figured out how we would be able to access more of Facebook's data store to really improve how we're really doing interest targeting. Now, we're still working on behaviors, we're still working on life events, demographics, but just about interest, we challenge ourselves, how could we get better just around interest? And I want to show you a little bit about what we've been building and to get your take on it. So we've initially built this front end in Messenger. And so I am going to go to Messenger and we're going to go into Messenger here. And we're going to start the bot. And we're going to So I'm going to make it come to me here. Okay, we're going to look for a new interest. I said my interest was pottery. So let's go take a look at pottery. Some of the interests may not go great, some of them may. Okay, so we're going to go with pottery. Right? One of the things that I found that I love software and how software returns data to you that you can really look at it on the screen, but at the end of the day, you dump it into a spreadsheet or dump it into someplace else to analyze. So what I designed this to do is I designed it to send me a comma delimited file that I could load into Google Sheets and analyze accordingly. So that's an interest file that came, and suggested results could come in. So what I do is not only do I go and check some Facebook interests, I actually take a look at those interests and I send them back into the Facebook interests, and I let Facebook make connections amongst those interests that I would have never thought of or never would have come up with, but exist in the way that Facebook stores data and relationships. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my email. These emails should have come in. Let's see, let's refresh this. I should have 2 in here. Maybe I only have 1. Pottery. I actually have 2. So this one is a suggested one, and I'm going to download this to, let's go to my desktop. Let's go to demo, demonstration. This is just the suggested ones. And we will download just the initial interest ones. All right? And then we go into, that's the spreadsheet we're using, but I built a spreadsheet. Let me just move this out of the way. And I'm not going to go through everything in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this data into my Google Sheet. These are the interests. I know they're interests because they don't say suggest. I said we're in beta. And I want to replace the current sheet, not the whole spreadsheet, the current sheet. I'm going to import that data. Oh, get rid of this. And so here are some ones that came back. Now let's look at the suggestions. Import, upload, select from file, suggest. I'm going to replace the current sheet, import data. All right. So I created a formula that went out and pulled these together to see what sort of interest would come back. So here are the initial interests that came back when I put in pottery. All right? All right? And then these are suggestions. When I took these interests and sent those back in, here are the suggestions that came back. And then I wrote a quick formula to only bring back the unique formula, the unique ones. Now, for some of us, this would be enough, but for me, I want to really pick through what I want to really use. So here I built myself a little method that in our training we talk about. I said, I don't want that one. Drawing, no. I want people interested in handicraft. Sculpture, could be an option I can use. Ceramic, IKEA, no. Fine art, you know what? If I'm interested, they could be interested in fine art. Tile, we decided before, so I'm not going to bring that in. That would make it unfair. Pottery, absolutely. Clay, absolutely. Printmaking, I'm going to go with no. Carpentry, no. Porcelain, we excluded that. It would be unfair to include it in this example. Japanese art, there's a lot of pottery, not really sure. I give it option 2. This means I'm going to go research this later. Elle decor, this becomes, if you employ a targeting strategy, and there's a lot of people that go for different sort of categories, interests, magazines and media, famous people, hobbies, events, and effects, and they run these sort of like interest groupings, and then they run ads to those interest groupings, the same ad to those interest groupings, and they see which one of those interest groupings perform better, and they actually go with those. And the ones that are really performing, they club them together, and then they get more more energy out of those winning combinations based upon their offer. So that's a function of that research. So there are some of these, the way we built it, these drop downs could be any other option. So you could make those drop downs. You can make it you can make, let's say, since I'm using option 1 and 2 right now, you can make this one events. You could make this one celebrities. And you can make this one occupations, right? And then if I went in here to this combined worksheet, I could just pull up occupation, celebrities, something like that. Okay, tableware, I'm going to make this option 3. Tableware, no, we took that out. Good housekeeping, option 3. Vitreous enamel, this one where I have to employ my friends at Google for a little help on this one. Now let's go back to all. What is vitreous enamel? It's a porcelain thing. Not going to go with that. Okay, so I'm going to go with the no for that. Metalworking, I'm going to go with the no for that. I'm going to take a break, and I'll come back when this is done. Okay, now that I'm back here, let's go to my selected results, sorted results. This is what I like to do. I look at I have a drop down here. I can pick occupations. I can go pick option 1. So now I have sculpture, ceramic art, pottery, clay, arts and crafts movement, wood carving. I made a conclusion that maybe that would be something that people would be into. Japanese pottery, Denby pottery companies, and a couple of pottery companies. Now, these may actually not play out in my exact geography, but at least I have these interests to pick from, because before I had these, now I have these. And so this is just another way that we've been able to go ahead and do this. Let me delete this. So this is how we would work here. So what I do normally is I would come to here, this selected group, and I would run a add-in that we add with our testing. And that copies everything into one cell. If you take a look at everything's into that one cell. So if I wrap it, actually, you can see the visual. And I copy that, go back in Ads Manager, say I delete that, delete that. Let's assume that we want to round it out with pottery. We'll get rid of pottery later. I'll just paste that in. Boom. So now all that went in here, and all that went in here. All right, so I'm going to get rid of pottery in here. And this is a group of 28 million people that I might be able to go after, because obviously I may kind of torque this down a little bit and do a little bit more. But this is how I can get I think what happened is pottery is just a very large thing. So if it's possible that I could start sorting these and doing a little bit more research to really drive this in. I mean, I could even go to a point where to narrow it even further, there's another strategy where you put that in. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get rid of pottery. So we go 6, 7. So let me take out the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now these people have to be interested in this. They have to be interested in pottery, and they have to be interested in that. So I would really work to move that down. But this is just a way that we can get a better population. So would you rather have people that have all these interests around pottery itself, or just people who have 3 interests in pottery or 2 interests in pottery? And this is how we put this all together. Now, I told you that when I walk through this, it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. It's just a better way of going about looking at interests. We're going to be adding behaviors and life events, but we need your help. We need you to help us test. And we have opened up what we are calling a private beta. There's a link that'll take you to this page. I'm going to include a link in the description below and a little bit more about what we're doing. So you can take this information, sign up. This will just take you right to Messenger. You just sign up, you get into Messenger, and you just start trying this. Now, the first thing that's going to happen in Messenger when you get in, as you may have seen in my early part, is that we have a private Facebook group that has all the training. It has this information about the add-on that I use. It has a copy of that spreadsheet that's available. All of that is available in there for you to copy and use on your own. And you can bring that in and use it over and over and over again. And as I learn new things, as I get more feedback from everyone, I try to improve it. So we're improving it every day. So thank you for listening. So in conclusion, we have put together a tool that we are building out and growing, but we need your feedback. We need people to go through this. We need people to be on our team, because the people on our team not only are going to get on the wait list, they're going to get discounted access to this tool. But here's the thing. For those of you who are marketing on Shopify, who have e-commerce or dropship stores, who are talking to, are you looking at coaching? Are you looking at all these other things? This is going to help you. This is going to give you an unfair advantage over your peers. And I think you should take advantage of it, because you're going to get a 30-day head start. Anybody who's on this beta list, anybody who signs up, when this is for sale, you're going to have a 30-day advantage over your peers to try this, go deep, and really own your niche. Now, when I talk about owning the niche, I want to show you something really quickly. We went and just looked at one group, these sorted results. And this is the combined worksheet we were looking from. But one of the things that we also have the ability to do is, let's say we went in here and let's say we wanted to get a little bit deeper. We looked at sculpture and pottery and clay. Is there something else we're missing? So let's take a look at clay. Let's say the suggestions brought back 46, but at the combined worksheet was 62. So we're going to go back into Messenger. I'm going to go back to where we're going to actually hit this Explore button. When you hit this Explore button, you can take a single term from the suggested list and push that back into the research part of this bot. Click List at Clay. Let's see if anything came back. Oh, our suggested result should be in our inbox. So we're going to go back. Clay. So I am going to download this. Clay suggested. And then I am going to go to suggestions. And this is a different sort of import. You just go, it's pretty simple. Open, import, upload, upload. And remember we did clay. We're going to select that. And instead of replacing the current sheet, we're going to append it to the current sheet. That means it's going to take it and put it in the next possible screen under suggestion. So let me get this out of your way. You can see that. And we're going to import it right there. So there's more polymer clay, ceramic art, all this other information that we might not have there. So when we take a look at our combined worksheet, it opens up a whole other group. And I've set this worksheet only to bring back unique values. So if there's duplicates, they're not going to be in this list. So now we can look a little bit further. Silt, loofah, polymer clay. That could be interesting. We already have that. I wonder why it didn't come back. Japanese pottery and porcelain. Did that come back earlier? Interesting. Maybe I didn't select it, or maybe it overrode it. Japanese it overrode it. Japanese. So studio pottery, I know that wasn't in one of them. Ceramic engineering, American craft. We have all these. It kind of overrode it. I didn't like that. Zero, and Staffordshire. So obviously what I would be doing is I would go ahead and just do multiple digs at the suggestions until I got more suggestions back, until I felt like I exhausted the list. Last Comic Standing, Potteries, Museum and Art Gallery. We'll just bring all these back because that didn't look good. Okay. And there's no harm in going ahead and looking up what is this term. This is a clay supplier, so maybe somebody has gone to their Facebook page who really understands this world and like that page, or Facebook has tracked them going to that page. So maybe that's something we want to put in here into option 1. So now we look at our results, look at option 1, and we have a little bit more. So this one's pretty easy. I could just go back and add that into here. And that's part of this. So that's how we could keep digging in and digging in and digging in to really get the most out of this interest. Because once you've got this interest saved, once you've got this saved out, this is an audience that you can use, that you can combine with other audiences. So I really encourage you to hit the link below, join the beta, ask questions, get really excited about it, and see all the stuff that's coming back and see all the stuff that's coming out, because I really want you to be a part of this. Thank you so much. I really look forward to you being a part of this. Thanks a lot.